Hello, everyone. Alan of the Rockies. I feels like I haven't done one of these in a while. I missed a week, but man, that 1 week um, felt like forever. So I'm gonna do week 4 and 5 breakdown for ABL. Um, I guess I could have did week 4. I guess I didn't take the mic, but I had the laptop. But man, I hate my hometown. I hate it. I just anytime I go back, it just depresses me. And for the handful of guys that tried to talk trade with me while I was there, I kept saying, I think I said to every one of you pretty much the same thing. Like, I need to get back home and get in the proper headspace. I don't like being back home. It just wouldn't have felt right trying to do one of these there. I couldn't even like sit and make the stupid little notes. I hate being back in that place so much. All I could think about was leaving again. So, but gonna do it now, and then later this evening, tonight, depending on your time zone, gonna have Cardinal Jeff and Commissioner Duke on to just kind of talk about the first 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever the hell it ends up being, first month. Surprises, disappointments, weird little bits and pieces that maybe they've noticed that I haven't, et cetera, et cetera. Just kind of kicking some stuff around about the league. So tune in later tonight, Tuesday, for that. And without much further ado, I'm going to bring this up on the main screen. So here's your week 4. There's just the stuff that I've been doing. I guess I could have spent some time looking at the actual like records and what teams did and whatnot. I got time for that. I got about an hour or so before lunchtime. So let's quickly take a look. I know my personal team, it's kind of the same thing I've been saying. I eked one out against the D-backs one of those weeks. I don't remember if it was 4 or 5, but I know I showed up on the slim win list, and I got thumped by the Wade Miley no-hitter. I don't know who else the Twins were playing that week. I think he had 3 matchups. I think he might have won them all. So it wasn't just me, but me and a couple other guys got whooped by Wade Miley of all people. Wade Miley's gonna go down as one of those I mentioned in the Discord just a little while ago. Like, who remembers Jordan Zimmerman's no-hitter, which I did not, and it was like a really nice. It was a 1 walk, 10 strikeout. Like, it was really something. Didn't remember it. Then he signed the big contract and was kind of a bust for the Tigers, but I didn't remember him throwing a no-hitter. I feel like Wade Miley's is gonna go down like Jordan Zimmerman's, and Jordan Zimmerman, at least for a while, was a much better pitcher than Wade Miley. Let's look at the week 4. Bam. The week 4 standings for ABL. Can I manage this without screwing it up? Hey, all right. Now let's get it to where you can see it. It can be seen. Okay. I'm still new to this stuff, guys. I'm sorry. All right, this is week 4. So the Rays, the Padres, the Tigers, the Pirates, and the Twins all go 3-0. I don't even think that's the week that I faced the Twins. So non-tough luck Tyler going 3-0 in week 4. A lot of guys going 3-0 in week 4. And then the Phillies, M's, White Sox, and Cardinals. I feel like I'm saying some of these guys every damn week going undefeated. They all go 2-0. Then there were a handful of us that went 2-1. Like, somehow I went 2-1, allowing almost as many points as I scored. Only a 4-point difference. The Braves, the Marlins, again, having a nice run. The Angels going 2-1. And then, group of guys. If guys go undefeated, a similar group of guys has to go winless. That's just how she goes. So there's a quick little breakdown. Man, the Pods 3-0 of week 4 scored a shitload more points than they allowed. So did the Rays. The Tigers only allowed 522 points, playing solid defense in Detroit. The Cardinals 527, solid defense. Cardinals, Whitey Herzog Cardinals, speed and defense. All right, so now let's look at the stuff that I actually wanted to look at, which is the week 4 little bits and pieces, the big whoopings, the slim wins. All right, there we go. So as you can now see, your biggest margin in week 4 was John's Tigers, who show up twice on this list, over Texas Sam, 181.5 points, which is not a huge gap from number 2, which is the Rays over the Yankees, 179.67 points. Number 3, the White Sox, showing up on this list as they want to do seemingly every week, 171.5 over Milwaukee. And then Detroit again over Cleveland, 164.5 points. And Tampa Bay again over Houston, 148.83 points. So 2 guys showing up twice on that list in Tampa Bay and Detroit. And then Harry weaseling himself in there in the number 3 spot. He usually seems to put a thumping on someone. I feel like every week I'm talking about the White Sox being in one of the big margin victory. And then, of course, he shows up typically in the other lists as well, except for the smallest margin. Harry's not usually in the smallest margin. The White Sox are either killing you, they're always beating you. They're always beating you, but they're usually killing you. Sometimes not a top 5 drubbing, but typically it seems like it's triple digits. Your smallest margin of the week was 2 points. The Braves beating the Red Sox, who I think the poor Red Sox might still be winless. They are, the poor Red Sox, so they lose by 2 points and remain winless after week 4. This is, of course, week 5 has already happened, so maybe he grabbed a win that I haven't seen yet. But yeah, poor Red Sox losing by 2 points, robbed of his first W. Number 2, Gary's Yankees over Oakland, who I know before I've talked about Oakland's tough luck, and here he shows up as the number 2 slimmest loss, or slimmest win, however you want to look at it. 6.66667 points. Poor Oakland again. Milwaukee eking one out over Cleveland, 8.5. So there's your single-digit small margins. And then we have Arizona over Baltimore by 11 points, and Seattle over the Dodgers, which I could probably spend several minutes just talking about that matchup, but I'm not going to do it because it'll bog me down. But that had to be a hell of a matchup when you look at where these guys show up in the hitting and pitching for the week. These two just probably kicked the shit out of each other, and Seattle Seth took it by 15 points. So that kind of sucks for Dodger Joe. My wife sends me 4 texts about why my Leatherman is in her purse. I don't know. I didn't put it in there. Your points per game for week 4, the Rays, who show up in 2 of the big whippings, averaged 4.91 points a game, and he got 80 games. So a perfect storm for Dom that week of averaging a lot of points and getting a lot of games out of it. And he ends up leading in hitting, 227 hitting points, and he was top 5 in pitching with 165.5 pitching points. So the Rays, we're just going to show up all over the place. And he had a pretty significant margin in point per game over Seattle. Number 2, 4.74 with 74 games played. The White Sox, what do you know, 4.64 points a game, also 74 games played. Toronto Blue Jays, 4.46, so a bit of a gap there from 4.64 to 4.46. And Mark got 72 games played. And then St. Louis, again, who I know at the end of week 5, spoiler alert, Jeff is our point per game season leader. I didn't do it for after week 4 because I did it for after week 5. So why do it twice? But Jeff is the man, and he shows up on this list a lot, maybe every week, probably every week. Your hitting points for week 4 and your week 3, your week 3 leaders. So the Rays at 227. A pretty good margin over the top hitting team in week 3, which was St. Louis at 187. Then you have San Diego at 193, Pittsburgh at 190. So Pittsburgh, number 3 hitting team this week. He was the number 2 hitting team at 184 in week 3. The Dodgers and St. Louis. So the White Sox and the Jays get knocked out of the top 5 hitting in week 4. That's just for week 4, not overall. Your top pitching team, the White Sox, the Kiwis, 189.5 pitching points, just slightly off of the week 3 leader at 193.5, which was the Padres. And then you have Seattle Seth, 182.5. So one of those outings helped him beat Dodger Joe by 15 points. And then a little bit of a gap to St. Louis at 169, nice 0.83 pitching points, slightly off of the week 3, slightly above the week 3 mark, which was Oakland at 165.83. Number 4 for week 4, Detroit, 167, slightly above the White Sox of week 3, 164. And then Tampa Bay, 165.5, as mentioned. The Rays had a hell of a week 4. So very quick week 4. And do some week 5. Not that I'm anxious to rip through these, but I don't want to cover all this shit because I'm going to talk about some of this stuff later tonight with some of the boys. So, why would you guys listen twice if I'm just going to talk about the same shit, right? Let me get week 5. Let me get week 5 up here. I'll tell you what, I was ambitious this week. I was feeling kind of crappy like the first couple days after I got home, so I didn't do much. I was worried I had the Rona, but I don't think I do. But I made 2 spreadsheets. 2 spreadsheets. All right. And excuse me real quick. I think somebody just knocked on my door. No, I'm going to knock on the door. There's a stupid washing machine. Okay, so this should be week 5. All right, yeah, week 5. So it might sound like we're doing some of the same, like, fuck, spoiler alert again, man. Tampa Bay is showing up in force these last couple of scoring weeks, and here he is this week with the biggest margin of victory, 196.68 points over Milwaukee. Poor Milwaukee. I was going to tally it up and see how many times all these different teams have shown up on these various lists, and then I just didn't. I got distracted, I guess. But I know Milwaukee has shown up on some of these biggest whooping lists. So that kind of sucks for him. He doesn't probably doesn't deserve the thrash. It's still early, so you could say it's like, well, that's just some funky scheduling. But I know I've seen Milwaukee on these biggest whooping lists more than a few times, I think. Number 2, Seattle. Stop me if you've heard this one. 181.5 points over San Francisco. Number 3, Seattle over Cleveland. 178.5 points. Tampa Bay shows up at number 4 and number 1, 167.5 points over the Mets. And then St. Louis, gotta get Jeff in there, 154 points over poor Sam's Rangers, who were the number 1 ass kicking of week 4, that 181.5 deficit to Detroit. So Sam shows up twice in a row. Sorry, buddy. And then Sam also shows up as the smallest loss. So he shows up as the 5th worst whooping, and he shows up as the smallest loss. He lost to Arizona by 4.33 points. So tough week for Sam's Rangers. Not only did they get killed in one matchup, they barely lost in another one. So that hurts. Number 2, the Phillies beat the White Sox. Okay, so there's Harry showing up on a, kind of a crappy list. He got beat by 5.17 points by the Phillies. So a week that Harry doesn't show up in the big whippings, he actually shows up in the slim loss column. And then the Dodgers over San Diego. I know the Dodgers were in week 4 getting beat by the Mariners by, 15 or 12? Yeah, 15. So they beat the Padres in this one, 8.83. And this might be a first. We have the Padres showing up as the loser in number 3, and then the winner in number 4. The Padres beat the Marlins by 9.17 points. So I'd have to go back and look, which I think I could do. I think I still have the other one written down. But I don't think a team has shown up on the losing side and then the winning side of the slim margin back to back like that, and by almost very, very close the same margin. And then number 5, my Rockies beat out Arizona by 12. So Arizona showed up in the number 1 and the number 5 spot of the smallest margin, and San Diego showed up at the 3 and 4. So I know that's the first week that's happened where a team has shown up twice on that list and on each side both times. That's pretty interesting, right? I don't know if that's Tim Kirkjian stuff, but to me, that's pretty interesting. Maybe it'll happen all the time. Maybe this is just the first week it's happened. Maybe it'll happen a lot, but I think that's kind of neat. Your point per game, week 5, Tampa Bay. I think this is the first single week scoring week where a team averaged over 5 points a game. He averaged 5.15 out of 67 games. So still, I mean, just imagine if he would have had the what did he have last week 4? He had 80 games. Imagine he averages 5.15 for 80 games. Number 2, Baltimore getting in here for, I think, one of the first times for PPG. I could be wrong. But he's number 2 at 4.71, so quite a significant difference between 1 and 2 there. And Baltimore did that in 62 games. Number 3, St. Louis, 4.62, 79 games. Detroit, 4.51 with 81 games. And number 5, Arizona, cracking the top 5 for a week, 4.33 points out of 50 games. And of that, you can see he eked out a win, and he barely lost. So good average, but man, pretty compared to even the second guy in the top 5, Baltimore, 62 games, still 12 fewer games. It's so much about depth, this league. I'm finding that out, and I'm on the wrong end of it. You're hitting for week 5. St. Louis, 186 points. Quite a gulf from the previous week's 227 of Tampa Bay, but still, number 1 is number 1. 2, the Dodgers. These guys showing up every week. 184 points. 3, Seattle. 174 points. 4, Detroit. I think it's going to keep going like this, guys. I hate to say it. 173 points, and Detroit was also number 4 in week 4 with 178 points. So look at the consistency, at least in hitting, from the Tigers there. The same spot in the top 5 in weeks 4 and week 5, and a 5-point difference. That's just what he does. And then number 5, the Angels, 169, very nice hitting points for the week. Your week 5 pitching, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. He was number 5 in week 4. He's number 1 in week 5. He's been a juggernaut lately. 213.17 points, which I don't know if, man, I'm ill prepared. I don't know if that's tops ever for the single week. Is it? White Sox had 210 one week, so yeah, that might be the tops so far. The tops for the season, for the single week scoring season, because week 1, you don't really count, but 213.17. So that's the pitching mark to beat. Detroit 192.67, which is also pretty high, and then St. Louis, who was number 3 in pitching in week 4, is number 3 in pitching in week 5. 179 points, 10 more points than he had in week 4. So again, some remarkable consistency, like the Tiger hitting, the Cardinal pitching. The Mariner pitching, 170 points. I know he's cracked this top 5 before. And then the White Sox, I just mentioned, have easily cracked this list at least once before. 158.33 points. Slightly off the mark of week 4, where number 5 was Tampa Bay at 165.5. So we're seeing the numbers that you kind of want to hit if you're going to be a top 5 team on any given week. And then we can see week in, week out what you want to be at. St. Louis Cardinals, the number 1 points per game on the season at 4.34 points per game. And it's not a fluke or anything. He shows up in all of these lists all the time. The Cardinals are a great team, and that's part of the reason why he's averaging 4.34 points a game. Number 2, the White Sox. These are all teams that you're going to see all over these lists. The White Sox, 4.27. 3, San Diego. Probably I'm going to talk about San Diego, or I'm going to want somebody to talk about San Diego tonight. I'm a little surprised at how well San Diego is performing at 4.13 points. Tampa Bay rocketing up this list, 4.09 points. I don't think usually I had been just erasing the week and starting over, so I haven't always saved these, and I don't always save point per game. Like, I don't always write it down, but I don't think Tampa Bay was always up there. But these last 2 weeks, 4 and 5, have gotten him to the 4 spot at 4.09. And then at 5, Detroit and Toronto are tied at 4.06. So Toronto Mark having a good year, but I know for sure he's ran into some rough scheduling. Let's look at period 5 real quick. So, of course, the Cardinals, the Rays, the Mariners, the Tigers, the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Orioles all go 3-0. Very nice. Good to see the Orioles and the Phillies. I know I said the Orioles squeaked into the point per game. Yeah, number 2 points per game at 4.71. He's got the record to show for it. Goes 3-0 that week. And then the Pirates go 2-0. And then, some probably fairly tough losses for the White Sox, the Padres. The Twins had a no-hitter and still managed a loss. Angels go 2-1. The Angels having a very nice season. They might make my personal surprise of the first month so far. They put up a nice 327. I think they're 9-5 on the year. Let's just look at the standings for the year real quick. That's your week 5 stuff. I mean, you guys can see it there. Let's stop that and look at some standings real quick before I depart. So Tigers, man, the Tigers are 14-0. I guess I hadn't realized that we still had a team that had yet to lose a single game, which seems to me incredible that he's in the same division as the White Sox and the Twins, who are both pretty tough teams and have been tough lately. Tough luck, Tyler. We've talked, I know he has 2 or 3 very thin losses, so he could easily be 11-3. Instead, he's 8-6. So he could easily be way up here in the rarefied air of the guys with only 3 or fewer losses, which are who we thought the cream was going to be. The Dodgers, the Rays, the Pods, the Mariners, the Sox, the Cardinals, the Tigers, and then you got the 10-4 Jays nipping at the heels right there. And then some tough 9-5 teams. The Marlins surprising 9-5. The Phillies are a very nice 9-5, 4-1 within the division. The Angels at 9-5, and then some guys that we know. I'm a little one of my surprises probably the Yankees at 6-8. I personally know I thought the Yankees were going to be. It's hard to say these guys are bad or they're going to be better. It's only been a month, but the tough luck A's, at 5-9. I don't know that they deserve to be 5-9. And we do have 2 teams. Oh wow, I thought it was just the Red Sox. Poor Cleveland Mark. The Indians and the Red Sox 0-14. Gazzo's Brewers 1-13. Got a couple of 2-12s. I am kind of surprised that the Rangers and the Nats did not think those guys. I mean, I didn't think anybody was. Somebody's got to do it though. Somebody's going to be on the bad end. I didn't really think any teams were going to go, winless through a double-digit amount of games, but I know, shit happens. I'm not doing great. 5-8. I'm hanging in there. I'm kicking around the idea of Garrett Cole, and a lot of guys have inquired about Moose, and I just want to get healthy. I just want to get healthy, but that's not my only excuse. I don't have a deep team, so the injuries hurt that much. That much worse. Guys getting fucking sent down and stuff. Blah. I was telling Duke the other night, man, I'd give my left arm to do this auction over again. I'm sure most of us from about right here, maybe about right here, 18th and on. Maybe the Braves wish, because I think he's the guy that bought Garrett Cole for 60 and then traded him to me, and now I'm looking to maybe salvage, the pieces that I can from Garrett Cole. But I also don't feel like I'm totally out of it. I'd be fooling myself if I said I was ready to give up at 5-8 through April, the first week of May, whatever. That's just silly. I'm us 5-win teams. We got to stick together. Me, the A's, the Mets. I don't want the D-backs in there because they're in my division, but we're not out of it yet. Somebody's getting Kellenick called up. I don't remember who that is off the top of my head, but somebody's about to get a boost. So that's pretty much it. That's your week 4 and 5. Be around later tonight to maybe break some of this down further with Duke and Jeff. See what they have to say. So it's not just me. Maybe bring up the power rankings, see how those are going. I've been really neglecting, the power rankings are such a cool thing that we have, and I've been totally neglecting them on this because I get tired of the sound of my own voice after a while, So I figure guys will peruse those at their leisure. But I should be talking about those things. So that's a really cool thing that a couple of the guys did for us that isn't getting much play from those of us that talk and watch this thing. So, all right, tune in tonight. Me, the Duke, the Cardinals. Maybe we can pick up a thing or two how to run a fucking successful team, because those guys are doing it. So, catch you later. We're back on the regular schedule. Week 6 after week 6. Watch tonight.